You're listening to Gamertag Radio.
All right, so my name's John Lloyd. I'm the community developer for the Trials brand.
All right, so let's talk about Trials, man. Trials Rising,
Absolutely.
the new one, and we started playing a lot with the Nintendo Switch version on that. Why was it so important to show that first at this event?
I mean, we were just really excited because this is the first time that we've been showing the game on the Switch. You know, we've showed it on the other platforms previously, but this is our first hands-on demo with the Switch, so we're super excited to get that into people's hands.
I'm excited because I travel a lot, so I'm always carrying my Switch with me everywhere. So this is going to be an opportunity for me to play Trials offline, right, on the go. So what are the new things that we're going to see in the game for this version now?
So what we really tried to do with this one is we wanted to kind of like take it back to the basics, which we saw as like the more grounded setting. Mm-hmm. So we have like the more realistic locations and the kind of like world tour aspect to it, where you're traveling around the world to these different events. But we always, want to keep pushing the series forward. So we really kind of did a lot to try and to add to the core gameplay. So the core gameplay is there. It's Trials. It's like what Trials players love. But we wanted to really expand on that. So a few of the things that we really focused on was one of like the learning. So previous Trials games haven't had a whole lot in the way of kind of like tutorials. So for this game, we worked with actually somebody from our community who's had a YouTube channel for a few years now, where he teaches people how to get better at Trials. That's Professor Fat Shady of the University of Trials. So we worked with him to develop our tutorials, to really kind of give players the information that they need in order to get better and excel at the game. And then we've also added the contract system. So as you go through the progression of the career mode, you're going to attract the attention of sponsors, and they're going to give you contracts. And the contracts will give you kind of extra goals to do throughout the track. So instead of just trying to get to the finish, with as few faults as fast as you can, you'll have some extra goals to kind of like spice up the gameplay.
To you, what is more important? Is it the way how you play the game? Is it picking the right bikes? Like what is it is better for a player playing it for the first time that want to get to the end and achieve their goals in the game?
Well, I think one of the great things about Trials is there's a lot of different ways you can play it. So you can kind of play it the way that you want to play it. For me, the advice that I always give to new players is to really kind of understand the relationship between the rider and the bike, because they're kind of like two separate things. You're controlling both, but they're two separate things, and like how you use each one kind of really determines how well you're going to do on a track. So you really kind of have to understand the gas and the brake is the bike, but the leaning is the rider, and the leaning really determines how you're going to do.
Okay. All right. And so now I know I'm asking this before, but I want to ask it again so listeners can know about this. So the Nintendo Switch version is you can play on the go, right?
Absolutely.
But I noticed that you can also connect to the servers of in the game. What are the features are we going to miss out if we're like on the go? Is it a lot of features we're going to be missing out? Not really, or what?
So you'll be able to play through all of the main career progression offline. You'll be able to play against ghosts. That's one of the other big things we have in this game is you're always racing against somebody else. And if you're online, it's going to pull those ghosts from the leaderboard. But if you're offline, we do have ghosts for you to race against that are based on the medal times of the track. You'll be able to customize. You'll earn your own customization items as you go through the game. But you'll be able to access more customization items when you're online. And of course, there's online multiplayer, but there is a local multiplayer mode that you can play offline, and you can play the tandem mode. It's local multiplayer, so you can play that offline as well.
Yeah, I know earlier you mentioned that it was important to do the training for those. A lot of the new gamers are going to start playing this, especially for the Switch version, because there's going to be people that have never had an Xbox version or PlayStation.
This is our first time on Nintendo.
Yeah, so they probably missed out a lot of the opportunities to play those games. And using that feature, they're going to learn a lot how to play the game and everything. How important was that for you guys? And also, how important also to get the community involved to get feedback for you guys to make changes in the game too?
Sure, those are two very big ones because it definitely was very important to us. It's something that we've always kind of, I don't want to say struggled with, but we've always improved upon it with each new Trials game, because you go back not that many games. Trials HD is like 4 games ago, and there really was like almost no tutorials at all. And so we've really kind of been looking at like how can we help people learn the game better so that they can get farther, because the game does get quite difficult. It's got a pretty steep learning curve. Easy to pick up, hard to master is what we say. So we really want to make sure that people get the information that they need in order to continue through the game, and they don't hit some point where they just like get stuck and they don't know what they need to do to get further. So that was a very important thing for us. And definitely involving community. Like I mentioned earlier, you know, we kind of wanted to take it back to the roots. And a big reason for that was with the recent games that we had, Fusion and Trials of the Blood Dragon, you know, we kind of went out there a little bit. We did some sci-fi fantasy stuff with Fusion, and then we went full on crazy with Trials of the Blood Dragon. And we knew there was a lot of players in our community that really were craving that more grounded Trials experience. So when we started to think like, let's kind of go that direction, we knew that we wanted to get some community members involved so that we could get their feedback as we were developing the game and not after it's out.
Yeah. We should definitely talk about the co-op mode that we tried out. That was a lot of fun. What's the name of it, that mode?
It's the tandem mode.
Tandem mode. It was a lot of fun. And I think this is like the perfect game, because I think a lot of the games, they're missing out the opportunity to play, to have like those local co-op experience.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them probably will just focus on just the online part of it. But I think it's important to play like someone in the house, you know, family, friends, you know. So how important was that to add that feature? And for those that don't know, can you explain what is that feature?
Sure. So first, the tandem mode is a single bike with two riders. And then so each rider controls the bikes. They both have control over the gas and the brake, but 50% each. So both people have to be gassing in order to get full power out of the bike. And really, one of the main reasons we came up with that is because we knew that there was a significant portion of our players that were playing local multiplayer modes. We've had local multiplayer in previous games. And we really started to think, like, what else can we give them that's not just racing against each other? Like, how can we make local play more interesting for people that do want to sit down with their friends and their family and play together on the couch?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I got used to the bike too, man. Because the bike was super powerful.
It's very powerful.
Yeah, compared to the other ones that I played too.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, global multiplayer, that's another one that's important too. I know old versions has it too. So tell us a little about that.
So the multiplayer is another thing that we really looked at. We wanted to expand on it. So there is the global multiplayers, online multiplayer, 8 players, synchronous play. We're adding a season system to this. We've had a kind of a season system in Fusion, but it was really basic. Now it's going to be a little more structured. So there will be seasons, different divisions. So we'll be breaking players up in divisions, not only to kind of help matchmaking, but also to kind of give you some more attainable goals. We like to say, you know, if you're 1 millionth on the leaderboard, you know, getting up 100 places like maybe doesn't feel all that great. But if you're 100th in this tier, you know, getting up 100 places is going to move you up to the next tier. It kind of gives you those extra goals to reach for as you're playing the multiplayer.
Yeah, well, another thing that I noticed about the game, because you know, we have, how many people we have? We have like maybe 6 here previewing the game, right? So I finished one level, and I was going to another area in the map, and I noticed one of my icons, like new score, and it was like highlighted, right? So that's friends, right? Is that considered like part of my friend list? That
those are going to pull from your friend list. So if anybody on your friend list, anytime one of your friends beats one of your times, it's going to give you a little notification. It's going to pop up right on the world map on the track where they beat you. And you can click on that and immediately run in and race against their ghost and try and take that time back from them.
I like that because instead of going back and checking the leaderboards and it's like a long process, this one's like a quicker way. Okay, hey, somebody beat your score, you better go back and try to beat them. I like that feature a lot. Excellent. Man. So anything else from the game? The editor mode too, right?
Editor mode, I'm really big about the editor mode. It's how I got into Trials in the first place, was building tracks. So I love the editor, and you know, we're always super excited when we put the game out to see what people are going to do with it. I think one of the big things about the editor this time around is that we've had far more objects than we've ever had before, because we've created a bunch of new objects for Trials Rising, of course, but we've also included almost all of the objects from Trials games going back to Trials HD.
That's cool. Like, I'm a type of player I can't create. I'd rather get stuff from the community, stuff that I created, and I start playing from there. Yeah.
And we have so many like amazingly talented players in our community that are building tracks there's going to always be something new, like really high quality tracks to check out on Track Central.
Definitely, man. Anything else? Anything else you want to mention about the game, and when is release day too, man?
Sure. I mean, I think the only other thing I can really say is I'm super excited for players to get their hands on the game. Can't wait to see how people receive it. Can't wait to see what builders are going to come up with. Can't wait to see what people are going to do with the new customization system, which has a lot of new features we haven't had before. And the game will come out on February 26th on PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, I'm excited for the Nintendo Switch for the Truth, man. I'm very excited.
Excellent.
Yeah, congrats, and this was a lot of fun, man. I had a blast playing the game.
Thank
man.
you.
Thanks for the interview, man.
Thank you.
All right.